Hello, everybody. It's the right one. And today we got a brand new episode of Wrestling with the Paranormal. Oh, I guess we should start the show.
You know that Enlightened one is a bit of a spotlight hog, don't you think?
He's trying to get more spotlight.
He's trying to take over and get more time on the show. Enlightened one, know your role. You say the intro, you're gone. Come on. Maybe that's you right. Cancel Craig the Gray and not nuking stuff.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. Know your role. All right, you can introduce yourself, introduce the podcast.
This is Wrestling with the Paranormal. I am one of your hosts. I am that gingered up paranormal son of a bitch. I'm Canada Dry, damn it.
And I am also here on Wrestling with the Paranormal. I'm not blue. I'm not purple. I'm not orange or yellow or green. I'm Craig the Gray, baby.
He's Craig the effing Gray. Do you know what? I love gray.
It's the best color.
It's goes with everything.
Goes with everything.
I just love it.
And it's so even one of those. You know, some colors you have to wear like multiple colors. You know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like if you wear blue, you can't wear all blue. You got to like mix with some black pants or something. But you can go all gray. You can do all gray. You can do black, all gray, and all black.
Black and gray go together. Blue and gray go together.
Blue and gray. Everything goes with gray. I know.
Pink and gray even.
Pink and gray is a great combo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I'm Craig the Gray.
Yes. And also because you have gray hair.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's something. You know what? I have a story about being gray. So I went to A&W to get some supper tonight. Great restaurant.
Tonight they talked about your gray hair.
Do they have A&W in America, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Get your A&W. Had a a Beyond Burger and some onion rings. Anyway, she asked me what my name was, and I said Craig, but I guess she didn't hear me. What's up, George Penning?
George Penning is back.
And you know what? She thought I said gray. The meal was made out to gray. It showed up on the screen. I was trying to take a picture of it, and then it went away. Oh, man, she thought my name was Gray. I should just start saying my name's Gray.
You know what? You should say I'm Craig the Gray.
Yeah.
Craig the Gray. Just everything.
And then when she says, like, am I supposed to know who you are? I'll be like, so you're not one of the 18 people that watches Wrestling with the Paranormal?
Hey, come on. Well, we get about 18 to 20 every week.
That's true. That's true.
But, yeah.
All precious viewers.
Speaking of George Penning, Linda Seipel is going to be on our show next week.
Which show? This show?
This show.
This show. Boom.
Yes.
He's going to bring us some content, I hope.
Yes. We're working on giving him his own segment on the show where he just comes on, tells a little bit of a story, and he kicks the bucket.
And maybe we'll comment on him because he's always going to comments on us.
Yeah.
Huh? Then he'll know what it feels like.
Yeah, George, if that's your real name.
Yeah, George Penning.
Just love George. We love you.
I love it. I'm looking forward to it. I watched a little bit of Magic the Wrestling, just another podcast on the old Effin' Podcast channel. That was pretty neat. They got some good stuff on there.
Well, you know what? We have added a segment to the show, and we're going to do it. We might as well do it right now. We've added the magic trick of the week.
Magic trick of the week. All right, here we go.
So here it is. We'll play it for you right now.
We will pick a card at random. Now the deck's going to tell me what this card is. Now we're going to look at the 26th card down and it'll tell me what this card is. Interesting. The deck tells me it's the 9 of clubs. Put the cards back and we'll do it again. Card at random. So again, we'll look at the 26th card down. Interesting. It tells me there's 8 of diamonds. We'll do it once more. But this time I'll show you the reveal card. This time I won't say anything.
Boom! Magic, baby. Magic is paranormal, right?
Magic is super paranormal. Yeah.
So yeah, he's got away with cards. He's a bit of a magician. So he
That's
is
the host. That's the host of Magic Wrestling.
yeah, and so he's agreed to let us show his magic tricks on Wrestling with Paranormal. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm excited to see what the next magic trick is. We'll see it next week.
Whoa.
So today's episode, we're calling, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, there it is. Oh, I'll follow it. Yeah, there we go. Ghosts and Goblins 2.
2, baby. Kind of
So,
like Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2?
Yeah, you remember Ghostbusters 2? You remember that movie?
Hey, Ghostbusters 1 or 2? Which one was better?
1. 2 is like actually not very good.
That's true. They're just like, it was a money grab.
It was a money grab, But yeah, I just remember the ghost, the little ghost in the picture. He had like his fingers up.
Yeah.
Remember he was doing like the 2? Yeah. That was good advertising.
I have a can with Ghostbusters, but I can't get up it from the show and grab it for you. But oh well, maybe next episode. So we're gonna show our retro video game clip of the week.
I wonder what it's going to be. I wonder if it's going to be Ghosts and Goblins. Surprise!
It's not gonna be Ghost and Goblins.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert for the show you're watching right now. I bet you it's Ghosts.
Oh, I was like, where the hell is it? Then I remembered the file was too large, so I have to.
Because you like long clip. You're a man of long clips.
Well, as the graphics get better.
Okay, let's see this retro game. Here we go. Is it Ghosts and Goblins 2? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Could be anything. Could be Ghostbusters 2. Oh, that would really throw you, wouldn't it? I bet you it was Ghosts and Goblins 2.
Whoa! Is that a PlayStation 2 controller you got?
I'm playing Ghosts and Goblins too.
So this guy makes it look so much fun to play that game, does he not? Whoever that YouTube guy was.
I agree, but did it look like it was kind of like skipping when you were watching it?
It looked like it was a bit
Like lagging?
glitchy. Yeah.
Glitchy, yeah, lagging. That's what I noticed. Probably just because it's so old, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah,
Where else are you gonna get content like that? And then you showed a picture of a burger after. I mean, this show is gold. The show is gold. People watch
baby,
other
gold.
podcasts and they're like, "What am I even watching?" There's no.
Yeah. So the burger people, Big Burger is paying us to subliminal ads. So
Yeah, and it's really like it's extra subliminal when you have the host of the show point out that there was a giant burger at the end of it, and like then it really sticks in people's minds.
Yeah. So yeah, the Big Burger. If you're hungry, go eat.
I had a burger today. It was delicious.
Oh, right, you had the Beyond Burger.
Mm-hmm. That was a Big Belly burger. Thank you, George
That's
Penny.
a great name for a burger. The Big Belly Burger. Is that not a great name?
So is this a place called Big Burger?
No, he's just making it up as he's going here.
But you said Big Burger people.
Big Belly, Big Burger. I mean, like Big Sugar, like.
But did you make that up?
I made up the part about Big Burger giving us money.
But then
George Penning named it the Big Belly Burger.
Okay, I'm pretty sure there's a conspiracy here because how did both of you think of big in the name of the burger?
I think he's playing off what I said.
No, I think that you can have like a telepathic link with George Penning.
What? Oh, well, he is my disciple, so.
Yeah, it's all coming together now. I see where this show is going. Okay. He's not, you're going to try to get him to replace me. Is that what's happening?
Well, you're kind of my disciple too, so it all works out.
Okay.
It all works out. You're just not French. Well, we got to get that Nuke the Moon shirt in the F and Wrestling.
Oh yeah, the Nuke the
Wrestling
Moon
store.
Yeah, right. I had a picture of it. I don't know what happened to it. I got too many notes.
But let's get into our main event topic here. Now, though, this is a sequel to our other show, Ghosts and Goblins 1, and that took place in 1955 in Kentucky. And so this also takes place in Kentucky, but it's 2012. So
the first one was in 1955. People forgot. This is quite a time difference.
62 years,
something like that. Yeah.
So this takes place in Pike County, Hellier, and it's just on the border of Virginia and Kentucky, just on the outskirts of Kentucky, if you will. So this all starts when Dr. David Christie writes an email to a former ghost hunter from Ghost Hunter Inc. His name is Greg Newkirk, and he writes him an email saying that goblins have been terrorizing his family for 6 months. Now, it all starts when the family dog refuses to stay outside during the night, and he'd bark himself till he had a coarse throat, and he couldn't. So they kept the dog in at nighttime, and then they found some tracks in the snow that he found was odd, and eventually he saw that his shed was open, and some of the kids' toys were missing, or just moved around, and the yard was in disarray. And so at this point, he phones the police and shows them the tracks and everything. He's got a weird feeling about it, and they just tell him it's animals. Like, come on. And what Dr. David Christie believes in the email to Greg Newkirk, he believes that the goblins are coming from the abandoned mine at the edge of his property.
Mm.
And he's afraid to, uh, you know, go down there with the shotgun. None of his friends want to help him. So he's asking Greg Newkirk to help him with this. And in exchange, he will compensate him. He will give him rights to the footage of everything in exchange for helping him blow up the mine so it shuts. And that's what he thinks the solution is. And but things start to escalate on the property. One morning, him and his family are having breakfast, and his daughter blurts out, "There's bald children playing in the yard at nighttime." And and hold on, I need some OJ. You know why? You know why apple juice is better than OJ?
AJ?
Why apple juice is better than OJ?
Because it doesn't murder its wife.
Ah! You've heard this one before.
That's a good one. That's classic. Okay, let's get back to this though.
Back to the story. A little
Kids
OJ
with no
commercial
hair.
there.
I think she said the kids with no hair.
Yeah, so she's saying that there's kids in the yard with no hair playing, and so the mother asks him, "What do you mean?" And she says, "They look like Grandpa, but with no clothes, because Grandpa's bald." And
well, at least Grandpa wears clothes.
yes, good on you, Grandpa. I guess Grandpa's a little short too, because these goblins seem to be like size of a toddler, or a little bit taller than that.
3 feet or something. Yeah,
3 to 4 feet tall. So he decides that he's going to get some floodlights in the yard, and they're going to be sensor activated. So after this, for a little bit, there's no activity in the yard. It's fine for a while. But one day, the daughter says, "The bald children are back." And David Christie's is a little bit concerned. And let me see. Oh, and she notices that the wreath that they had, like a Christmas wreath that they had on the door, is stuffed into the mailbox. And that's just really odd. So one night, Dr. David Christie, is awoken by his daughter screaming. And he wakes up, he runs to the door, gets out of his bedroom, and meets his daughter in the hallway, and she's crying and she's screaming. And she says, "The bald children are trying to look in my window, but they can't because they're too short. So they tap on my window." And they're scaring her. And so that's the last night she slept in her own room. She then slept in their room for the rest of the time. That's just scary as hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's writing this email. We have another clip for you from the good people at Bedtime Stories. They did this, and we're sharing a clip from their show. So I'm just gonna find the video file, and we will pop it.
This is an artist rendition. Artist
Yes.
rendition. Actual events. Here we go. Smooth as butter.
Smooth as butter.
Mm-hmm.
Kids without hair for myself. The dog woke me up around 1:30 a.m., scratching at the back door and whimpering to be let out. I noticed that the motion floodlights was on and went to the kitchen window to check that the shed doors were still closed, when I realized that I could see the shadow of an individual cast across my lawn. From the angle I was positioned, I could not actually see the source of the shadow or the floodlight. The dog was pacing circles around the back door, and I could hear someone rifling through a box on the porch. Filled with more anger than common sense, the only reaction I could muster was to bang loudly on the window and yell, at which point I heard the screen door on the porch swing open and slam against the house. I heard what I can only describe as chirping at this point. It sounded much like a skunk, if more guttural. I then realized that there were more than 2 people on my property, and the shadow, which had been reacting as if it didn't know which way to run, was quickly joined by another. For a moment, I watched as the shadows chirped at one another when I noticed a figure out of the corner of my eye. Standing in the flower bed just to the bottom left of my window was a small humanoid figure with sickly pale skin. Completely hairless, standing roughly 4 foot. It was looking in the direction of the shadows, and had clearly come from around the left side of the house, opposite the porch, and had not noticed me as far as I could tell. Its face was devoid of features, save for large, round eyes, very reminiscent in shape and color of a bird's eye. It had no nose to speak of, and only a small slit for a mouth. It didn't appear to move its mouth as it chirped, sounding more as if the noises originated from its throat. It was most certainly not a wild animal, and even more certainly not a child. I was too terrified to move, and watched as the creature hopped to the others, and together they scrambled into the woods on the right side of my property. It was clear that there were at least 5 in the group. I've not mentioned this particular incident to my wife. The only other person who I've spoken to about these creatures are yourself and the close friend who introduced me to our mutual friend, Mr. Wrist. I would prefer to keep things that way, and to approach this problem as discreetly as possible. Since that evening, my dog has gone missing from the porch, yet to return, and I can only imagine that this disappearance has to do with these creatures. I've gone looking for him during daylight hours, only to find many of my missing belongings scattered at the entrance to an abandoned mine shaft at the far edge of my property. I don't dare go inside. My friend has convinced me that my experience is similar to that of other visitation experiences, providing me with material and references that back up his claims. I am aware of the outlandish nature of what I have told you, but I'm afraid that I have no other explanation for what I have seen, at least at this time. I can see no other option than to seal the entrance to the mine. I cannot achieve this on my own, and I am too frightened to try. I don't dare share this information with others for fear of ruining my career and the reputation of my family. I am prepared to compensate your travel expenses and offer you restricted access with whatever recording equipment that you desire, but only on the condition of complete anonymity. Beyond that, I have no desire than to be rid of this problem. Please inform me of what you would like photographs of and where to send them. Thank you again.
Wow, yeah, so that's the end of my portion of the story. I'm gonna make the tag. Make it the tag. There we go. A flawless tag.
Just like Survivor Series. That's the only
Which
time
year?
they tagged each other. Yeah, 1994.
Yes, 1994. Right here.
1994. Just like a 1994 Survivor Series. Okay, so you see there, Dr. David mentioned a friend named Terry Wrist. Now, the guy he's emailing, Greg, what was his last name? Greg something.
Greg Newkirk.
Greg Newkirk. So he's from Ghost Hunters Incorporated. He's got he's on the weird what is it called again? weekinweird.com. That's his website that people can send things to. So you can check out more of this story there if you get interested in it. But
so we also have. Let me know when you want to show the pictures of. We have some footprints that he sent in those emails.
Pictures that he sent to him. Yeah. So I was just going to mention. So Greg's looking deeper into the story, and he's like, "Where have I heard that name before? Terry Wrist." He looks it up on YouTube or on Google. Can't find this person's name, but he does some deeper research into paranormal related topics, and he finds that this name, Terry Wrist, who is supposedly a friend of the person being terrorized by the goblins, this person is actually mentioned in 2 different paranormal books. 1, The Secret Cipher of the Euphonauts, and 2, The Secret Rituals of the Men in Black. And in the book, The Secret Rituals of the Men in Black, Terry Wrist claims to have been part of it because he says he worked for the government and that he was part of a military team of ex-Vietnam soldiers who would go around the United States and destroy underground alien bases. Whoa. So there's a tie-in.
Terry Wrist wasn't his real name. He was a pseudonym, right?
Right, because Terry Wrist isn't a real name on. Like, he couldn't find. That's not the person's name, but that's the name he was willing to be interviewed under in these books. Okay, now and then I guess if he's friends with Dr. David, that maybe he told Dr. David to use his pseudonym because he doesn't want to be revealed, right? He doesn't want his identity out there. So yeah, we've got photos here that in one of his emails he starts sending photos. We've got photos of footprints. Can you still hear me?
Yep, we can still hear you.
So these are images taken from outside his compound, his near his house. Now the interesting thing about these photos is there's actually like, the little lines that skin has, so you can see them there. You can see that there's lines.
I think this one here is the best.
You can totally see it, yeah. So the little lines that like skin makes because it's got creases in it. You can see that the imprints have those lines on them, and those lines are very distinctive that like show you that this is actually made by bare skin, right? This isn't something wearing a foot, and this isn't made by like a piece of wood or something. So also, Greg had these specialists looked at these, and a couple of things that they could say. These are definitely made by somebody who only walks on 2 feet, so a bipedal either animal or person. So it can't be like a deer or like a 4-legged animal. It has to be someone on 2 feet. You can tell by the like weight distribution. Also, they're walking so that there's no actual heel print, which means they're probably walking with their heel raised up, kind of like how we can walk on toes, kind of like that. So that's interesting. And then he also sends very low light photos. I don't know if you have those that are supposedly, so this is supposedly the goblins or the
the one he had isn't even anything, so I didn't bother downloading that one.
One of them is really nothing. I mean, this one you can kind of see a shape.
So they were able to get a more better image after it, and this is what they saw.
So they kind of added light to it, and then they kind of circle what they think is that's the shape of the alien in profile with the ear and eye marks.
But the money shot.
I don't know. I mean
this is the money shot right here.
Yeah. So here, this is one of the creatures peeking behind a tree. So there's a tree in front of it. That's the shape kind of in front of it. and then you
But
can
could
see,
that
like,
be a
behind
kid?
it.
Kind of like.
Now I guess the camera has some kind of flash, and that's what's illuminated off of the skin, and the skin is shiny,
Yeah.
right? That's why it's shining like that. So I mean, definitely bald. You can see that's very bald. Children with no hair.
You know, like
so creepy.
that's how all alien pictures end up looking. You never get a really good quality picture of an alien. They all kind of look like that.
Even though he said in an earlier email, like you mentioned, that he was going to put motion activated floodlights in, but I guess maybe that didn't work out or something. Besides the point, though. So here's the thing: after sending those pictures, that is the last that Greg actually hears from Dr. David. He stops contact, no further emails at all.
Just drops off the face of the earth.
Drops off the face of the earth. Now, this kind of spooks Greg. He contacts the police and tries to, he gives them all of the emails and says, like, look, this person stopped talking to me, and this seems like, he's gone to the police as well. He did a lot of research into Hellier, the area in Kentucky where this is happening. Unfortunately, Hellier is such a small town, like they don't even keep radio records. So it's difficult for him to like figure out like who this person is. The police, as you might have predicted, are totally unhelpful. They don't even think it's a case. They're not willing to help him at all. So I got a theory about that. We can talk about that later because this is twice in the same story. The police don't even help. Even in the 1955 story, they didn't do much. So why are the police standing up?
Well, the 1955 police are way better than these police.
Yeah, no, it's almost getting worse. Getting more. I feel like someone's being paid off. Maybe. Anyway,
follow the money.
Follow the money. Why are the police defending the Kentucky Goblins? Anyway. Okay, so so he looks into it, and there's actually dozens of abandoned mines in that area. So around Hellier, lots of abandoned mines. Now he actually goes to a different area in North Carolina. This isn't. He didn't even realize this was related to the story. So Greg was going with his crew to film a different special for a web series called Engaging the Strange, and he went somewhere called Brown Mountain, North Carolina. This place actually has the famous Brown Mountain Lights, which is like a...
Oh, I love the Brown Mountain Lights.
Well, it's a UFO. It's probably UFO-related sightings, right? We haven't done a show on it yet. Maybe we will.
It's another one we can do that I came across. I didn't really look too much into it. Is the Kentucky Goat Man. Did you see a little bit of that?
I saw a goat thing, yep. I saw some goat.
So, yeah, that's a possible future episode, but carry on with your story.
So, he's visiting the Brown Mountain Lights. He's doing a show about it. And a friend says that a nearby cave is home to an alien base. So he's like, oh, I should check this out. So he gets taken to this place that's supposedly an alien base. He doesn't find anything except for a boulder that has clearly been moved out of place. And the boulder seems to be blocking the entrance to something.
So they went in this cave. So they went in this cave, and they can only get so far, right?
Yeah.
And there was a boulder blocking the next part of the cave.
Maybe people trying to block something from coming out. Could be, right?
And we did a little bit about this on the Paranormal War show, remember?
Yes, absolutely.
Where they were shooting the aliens coming out, the reptile creatures coming out of the cave, and then they blew it up so they couldn't get out.
And also the story about Bulgaria was also in a cave, if you remember that.
Right.
We've got multiple cave-related stories about things coming out of caves. Now, here's the spooky bit. Okay, so he does that thing. He goes to that cave. 5 months later, he gets an email from none other than somebody claiming to be Terry Wrist.
Dun, dun, dun.
The friend of the guy whose family was attacked by the goblins. So this is a very cryptic email. It says things like, why did you stop when you were so close? I have something for you. 1 week. And then a week later, he gets another email. that says, for every door closed, a window must be opened. Use the numbers. And attached to the email is a picture of a series of numbers. So this person's like, well into stuff. And then looking at the numbers, somebody on his crew says, those could be coordinates, right? He looks up the coordinates and where they would show on Google Map or Google Earth. And you know what? Those coordinates were exactly where he was with his crew when he went to go visit the cave. How did that person know it? Right?
Interesting.
So things get really strange here. Now, also, to make things even more spooky, so Greg has talked about this case in his media, on his website, and on his show, but he's never mentioned the name Hellier. And yet in these emails, this person mentions the town Hellier. So how did this person know that that's where this stuff was happening? Right?
What if? Should we talk conspiracy yet?
We could talk some conspiracies.
What if What if what's his name? Wrist and Dr. David Christie are the same person.
And he's just saying my friend, but he's actually just talking about himself.
Yeah.
It could be.
The other thing.
Now, if that's true, if he's the same person as Terry Wrist and the Kentucky Goblins are terrorizing his family, well, here's the thing. If he actually was on a military team that's job was to destroy underground alien bases in the United States, then maybe the aliens are just getting revenge because they know that he's been messing with their bases. Right?
That's a good point. But they Greg he had a feeling this might be a hoax.
Right.
So what they did was they looked up his original IP address and they found it was coming from Ontario, Canada, and not Kentucky.
What?
But he could be putting a VPN on there to throw people off where he is and his own address and whatnot. Yeah. So is he hoaxing from Canada or has he just got a VPN on there?
Do you see the coincidence though? Our show broadcasts from Canada.
What? We're not part of this. We're not getting dragged down in the mud with this Dr. David Christie.
Okay.
Dr. David Christie, you know what? You don't even make good cookies.
Okay, so we've got more stories coming out of this area in Kentucky. All right. Another story that is very similar to the creatures described in the emails. In 1990, Donald Patton, all right, he's living in eastern Kentucky. He's calling his son. His son is like yards away from him. They're on their property. His son's kind of like sitting on a stump, and Donald Patton's calling him to come in, because the sun's going down. And he sees these three figures getting closer and closer to his son. Three bald, greenish, gray-skinned figures getting closer and closer to his son. His son's like getting up and walking towards him, and his son doesn't even see them. But these things are coming up behind him, and he's starting to freak out. He's like, "What are these things like? Coming from my kid?" His son finally gets to him, and he asks him, "Like, didn't you see those creatures?" And his son like, didn't even see them, and they were getting like so close to him, right? But this freaked him out. So he reported it. Now, that's in the same area, okay? That person also lived near an abandoned mine. Apparently, there's a ton of abandoned mines in Kentucky. If anybody's from Kentucky and you've been to an abandoned mine,
yeah, send us a picture of a damn abandoned mine.
Yeah,
we'd love to see it.
Why were they all abandoned?
I bet those mines have some abandonment issues. Oh man!
Wow. This whole podcast was actually just to set up that joke. So if you're watching right now,
for the day, you see it.
If you're watching right now and you didn't think that was funny, well, guess what? That's the whole thing we've been building up to.
Okay, so
All right.
I have some interesting thoughts. It seems that the goblins are really focused on the children.
Yeah. In all three stories.
Yeah, they're really focused on the children. They only come at night.
Mm-hmm.
And what else?
Do you think they could be sensitive to the sun? Like maybe they have some kind of like their skin just can't handle direct sunlight, so that's why they come in at night. Because they're like pasty. It seems like they're like gray, Okay, now
It's almost like no good thing happens at night. Like it's only dark, scary shit happens at night. You don't see this dark, scary shit ever in the day. Why is that? No one's ever seen a ghost in the middle of the day. It's the nighttime. No one sees these aliens and all that shit in the middle of the day. It never happens. If
true.
Can you think of like one instance where it was during the day?
Most of the stuff we look at is at night.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's weird.
The only thing that happens during the day seems to be Bigfoot.
Yeah, that is the one.
It's like the only thing.
See, is Bigfoot, and yeah, that's it. So
maybe the place where all these creatures go at night. They all go there and they're all hanging out together, but they don't like Bigfoot, so they're like, Bigfoot, you can't hang out with us at night. You know what? We're going at night.
You're a
day
photo
monster.
hog. You're getting in the pictures and all that posing on. We can't stand you, Bigfoot.
Yeah, you go somewhere else during the day. Get out of here. You can't hibernate with us.
Yeah, stupid Bigfoot. Get a monster truck named after you.
Okay, but what do you think? Do you think this is a hoax? Do you think these emails are just trying to get attention?
It's so hard to wrestle with that one because what I'm
the thing is like, what is he getting out of it if he's just emailing Greg and making the story up? Like just some satisfaction from the like a little bit of media attention, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of.
Like this is an age where you get people that just love to mess with people.
Yeah.
Like think about this. This guy's got his own show and stuff like that. To get attention from a minor celebrity or something.
Well, it's also like it. Yeah, it's really only in the subsection of the media that is like paranormal fans of paranormal things.
Well, you know what? I even get people messaging me and lying to me about stuff. Me.
Wow. Okay, why don't we read those on the show? What are you doing? We could do a whole segment. Stuff that people send to
I haven't confronted these people that I know they're lying. Because I don't want to.
You don't know that they're lying. You think they're lying.
Okay, so
you want them to be lying because you can't handle the truth.
Okay, so they say that they're wrestlers and that they get injured all the time.
Yeah,
they're always getting.
And they
injured.
want to be on the show.
No, because I even messaged them and I said, hey, why don't you send a picture of yourself wrestling and I will promote you and I'll help your star rise up. And they're like, no, it's okay.
Okay,
but the funny thing about their lie is they're always injured or one of their friends is always getting injured. And
okay, I just discovered something while you said that story. So people want to get attention on your effing wrestling podcast. They claim to be wrestlers, but when you ask to for them to send you a picture, they just stop talking to you. Here's the thing: when you claim that aliens are messing around with your family, and someone says, "Well, send me pictures," then you can just send these blurry fucking pictures. Oh my god! I just said the F-bomb. Oh my god!
You dropped the F-bomb. Put your money in the swear jar. Should we get a
Okay.
swear jar each and put a quarter?
But
in
you know
there?
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is fake. Maybe this guy's just taking blurry pictures and sending it to people. You know?
Yeah, like that. Well, you could say the VPN excuse all you want, but the fact that the that comes from Ontario, Canada, so far away, instead
Yeah.
of like another state over.
Right.
But you can set it up that way to look like it's coming from Canada, right?
Ajax, Ontario. If anybody's from Ajax, Ontario, is it popular? Is it a thing to do in Ajax?
I've never
Ontario?
even heard of Ajax.
You like hoax people? Is that what you do there? A bunch of hoaxers?
Not hosers, hoaxers.
Hoaxers.
You're not the butt
Okay.
of hoaxer, eh?
Now people know that we live in Canada and they know we don't live in Ajax, Ontario. If we keep giving people clues in the show, we're going to dox ourselves. People are going to know exactly where we live.
Okay, so should we give them a clue?
No, let's give them false. Let's give them a false clue. What do you call that? Like a red herring.
We are rednecks.
Yeah,
We are
Yeah,
rednecks
we-
from Canada.
we live in a city that rhymes with Algery.
I was gonna say Schmedmonton.
Yeah, Schmedmonton. That's right. You figure it out.
Not Schmancouver.
No, and our province rhymes with Smellberta.
Smell. Oh man, we were full of it.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, maybe it's a hoax, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, like I think that I don't think the first one was. The first one, I
No. If we compare the two stories, 1955, 2012. 1955, the police went there. They found bullet holes. They found their house was wrecked. Right, all the tracks outside. They found that goo or whatever. Way more evidence. Way more evidence.
this just comes from the email. We see the blurry pictures. We see that I think those a lot of those mud. Come on, look at this. You tell me you can't recreate this.
With my foot?
Not with that, but you put a piece of wood that looks like that or something in there. It's gonna look.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could hoax that.
You could hoax that. Okay. It could be a hoax. It could be a hoax.
But we don't actually know.
Don't actually know.
And they actually made a documentary. The people from Greg's team, they actually made a documentary that you could look up on YouTube of him trying to figure out if this is a hoax or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, maybe we'll put that link in the show notes.
Oh yeah, with all we always put things in the show notes. People know that. People are like, "Oh man, wrestling with paranormal, so much stuff in the show notes.
Oh, tons of stuff.
Tons of stuff. We're
We're
known.
known
We're
for
known. I
we
mean,
got menus in there of stuff you could
Yeah.
order from our restaurant.
oh,
We
yeah.
got you didn't know we had
Oh,
a
yeah.
restaurant?
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
We have a restaurant with menus. Yeah,
The Paranormal Burger.
yeah. The Paranormal Burger. The restaurant's called Show Notes. That's how popular we are for Show Notes.
That's so ridiculous.
I don't want to showboat, but I mean, we got a lot of show notes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
All right, should we close it up? This has been an excellent.
Yeah.
Episode.
I think like we got to talk about the moral of the story. What's your moral of the story, Craig DeGray?
Don't play with bald kids.
That's a little bit.
Okay, no, that was that. Okay, for any for actual children out there who don't have hair for whatever reason, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're great.
Maybe
People
don't
should
play with
you
bald naked kids.
if they look like grandpa.
Well, if they're naked, just stay away from them. Like, throw them a towel or something.
That's true. I think you can safely say that. You're not going to offend anybody if you say children shouldn't play with anybody who's naked. How about that? That's a good
Exactly.
lesson. That's a
So
good
if they're
moral.
naked and bald, stay away.
Yeah. Yeah.
My moral is you get
What's up
yourself a nice bomb, and if you see abandoned mine, you blow that shit to smithereens.
Mhm.
That's the moral of the show. And is it time for the music? Should I hit the music?
Do it.
Let's hit the music. So you can find us at effingwrestling.com, where you can find the Magic of Wrestling podcast, where he interviews fans. You can find different stories that we have. You can find our AFW league on there, and all sorts of things. And then you want to go to Effing Wrestling. So you want to go to Pro Wrestling Tees /Effing Wrestling and buy a shirt and support the show, support Effing Wrestling. So many great shirts. We're going to get that Nuke the Moon shirt. You got anything to say, Craig?
I've got one last thing to say. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, keep on wrestling with Paranormal. Oh yeah, I'm actually working on the Nuke the Moon shirt right now.
You're gonna work on it?
I'm working on it right now. I'll send you something. I'll send it to you right away.
All right, so we're gonna get that Nuke the Moon shirt. Yes.
Amazing.
Until then, keep on. No, that's not up there. Until then, help control the pet population. Have your cats and dogs spayed or neutered.